Hello guys, welcome to the Sportsman Untitled Extra, and I'm joined by Gab Sutton and Ollie Mann as we rank the top 10 Championship transfers of the summer window. Now we're recording this on deadline day with a few hours to go, so we've just done the deals that have been completed so far, and in at number 10 is Marcelino Nunez. Gab Sutton, why have we got him at number 10?
Well, I think certainly the unique profile of the signing, it's the first player to go between either clubs since Andy Marshall in 1994. So I think it shows that it's certainly an unusual signing to start with. I think one thing I'm really curious about with the Marcelino Nunez signing, I certainly think he can bring an extra level of creativity to this Ipswich Town team. I'm quite curious about it, though, is whether he's going to fit into the team, because Jens Kiiste and Azim Matusiwa have established quite a nice pairing, certainly in the second half against Derby at the weekend. So it's whether he's going to get the minutes.
Ollie, is this one in more for the shock factor than the actual playing factor?
Yeah, I think it's incredible that this deal's got done, to be honest. I can't believe that obviously Norwich have let him go to a direct rival. I think there's some thinking there that, it's a good fee and therefore you can see why they've been able to move him on. But I think this is, what do we call it? King Outhousery is the word that we'll use from Ipswich in terms of bringing him in. But I also think the contributions he can bring on the pitch to Ipswich could really be a difference maker. They've had a tough start to the season so far. They need somebody who's able to unlock some of those defenders, maybe get a little bit more creativity into this team. And we know players with the profile of Nunez can do it at this level and can make a huge difference in some of those tight games where you don't know quite where they're going. So yes, there's the shock factor. I can't believe it's happened. But there's also there's a really good footballer here that maybe gets lost in some of that wider story.
And it makes the East Anglian Derby one to watch. In at number 9, we have got Daniel Iverson. And Ollie, you fought for this one to be in our combined list, so over to you, mate.
I absolutely love this signing for Preston. I think he is such a step up on Freddie Woodman. Obviously, when he left over the summer, I think it had probably come a natural time that they were looking for a new number one. Woodman had a difficult sort of 12 months in particular where he'd not really been able to kick on. And as they had such a poor season last year, they wanted something fresh, something exciting. In comes Daniel Iverson. Now, obviously, he's been at Preston on loan before, had an impact, really got on with their fans. They loved him. To see him come back for a free transfer is insane. I think he comes in immediately as probably one of the top 5, top 6 keepers in the Championship. And I also think we need to look at the impact this has for Leicester. They lost Hermanson to West Ham. Iverson was a ready-made Championship number 1. And they've just let him go. I think this is a floor raiser massively for Preston. This takes them far and away from that kind of relegation trouble they had last season. We saw it already when Leicester played Preston, that he was a difference maker in that game, making wonderful saves as well as contributing with an assist. I think he is going to be one of the top signings of this season. And I'm fuming he's only at 9. I think he should be higher. I think Iverson is brilliant, and I think he comes in immediately as one of the best keepers in the Championship.
We have had a conversation to try and bring all of our lists together to create this top 10. By the way, there's no loan players in this. We made that rule to start with. Permanent transfers only. Are you as big an Iverson as Ollie is, or not quite, Gab?
I think the goalkeeping area is so important for Preston this season. I expect them to be one of the underdogs. So I think to have a brilliant shot stopper, someone who can breed confidence into a bit of a new look defence in the sense of 1 or 2 additions coming in, the likes of Adel Afire. So I completely agree with Ollie, and he's in my top 10 as well.
We've also tried to take the transfer fees into account during this top 10 as well. And at number 8, for 3.5 million, Callum Brittain going to Middlesbrough. Gab, this is a great transfer, especially for their system as well. Yeah,
well, Callum Brittain's someone I've had my eye in. I watched him play for a poor MK Dons side in the 17-18 campaign under Robbie Nielsen, and you could see then that he was a really exciting prospect. It hasn't quite hit the super high heights that he might have wanted to in his career, but we've seen what he can do at Championship level pretty consistently, most notably with Barnsley under Valérien Ismaël. Typically a manager that likes a pressing system and plays with attacking wing-backs. And I think that suits Rob Edwards perfectly because of how important a role the wing-backs are in his 3-4-1-2 sort of preferred formation, or 3-4-2-1 as it's looked more like at Middlesbrough. So I think Callum Brittain with his energy and dynamism, I think that's going to make a real difference.
A name you wanted to include that I didn't allow was Naipalm as well at Middlesbrough because of the loan thing we've gone for here, Ollie. You're a real big fan of him, though.
I am, yeah. Obviously, Callum Brittain, fantastic footballer. I think he brings so much to this Middlesbrough team. But for me, Sverre Nipan is the absolute standout in this Middlesbrough team at the moment. I can't believe he's playing in the Championship. It's blown my mind that they were able to bring him in. Obviously, anybody who's been playing Football Manager the last couple of years knows exactly how good this player could be in terms of the potential. Man City have brought him in because they believe in his potential, and I think he'll be a starter for Manchester City within the next probably 2 seasons, because I think he's that good, really ready for a breakout. We've seen him already in flashes, came off the bench, contributed to those 3 goals against Millwall immediately, and I think we're only going to see more of that. A fantastic addition. It's a shame we can't include loans, but Callum Brittain's not a bad backup to have coming in as Middlesbrough's representation on this list, because he really does make a difference to their system, particularly being able to get down that right side, and his delivery always on point.
Number 7.
He must be good if you get a kiss from Ollie.
Chef's kiss.
Up to number 7 now, and it's another midfielder, in fact. Ollie, you like the look of Ethan Galbraith making the step up to the Championship this year, and he started pretty well, hasn't he?
I adore the move for Ethan Galbraith coming into Swansea City. Obviously, since Matt Grimes left in January, they have probably been looking for somebody to take on that role in the centre of their midfield. Galbraith is perfect for it. He just keeps them ticking over. I think he transitions them a little bit in terms of their style of play. He's not quite as slow. He's not quite as sort of patient on the ball. He's going to be a lot more involved. There's a lot more energy there coming into their midfield. And I just think it freshens them up so nicely. He's had fantastic seasons with Leyton Orient last year in League One as they made a very good underdog run to the playoffs. I think it's going to be fantastic to see how he stepped up. He's already started the season brilliantly. We saw it against United earlier this season where he was just in control of that midfield battle. He was up against Callum O'Hare, Gustavo Harmer. He was the standout midfielder on that pitch. £1.3 million is fantastic value. And also, just in case anything happens today, they sign a new midfielder. You think, oh no, where's he going to fit? Can play right back just as well. Can go anywhere. But as a central midfielder, he's going to be a standout for Swansea. And again, another player who I think elevates the floor of a team. He takes them from a team who you kind of go, if a couple of things go wrong, are they going to be down there? I don't think so anymore, because I just think he's a player who really transitions them, gives them more energy in midfield, can also pick up that sort of metronome role in terms of keeping the ball ticking over, and he's a lovely addition.
Go on, Gab.
Just to add to that, not much to add to that for Ollie, because I think that's a great case for the signing. But I think sometimes you look at young players and they start with the incredible technical ability, and then once they get to senior football, they add the dynamism. I think with Ethan Galbraith, it's almost been a little bit the opposite, because what stood out to me watching him in the lower levels with Leyton Orient and others is actually the dynamism, that the quick give and goes and the moving forward quickly and getting up and down. And actually more recently, particularly the last 12 months, he's added this ability to kind of caress the ball, that ball carrying ability, that sort of glide, if you like, which has been lovely to watch. But the fact that he already has that dynamic side to his game, I think is a massive help when it comes to adjusting to Championship level and adjusting to the demands of this league.
Up to number 6 now, and it's a winger we've seen a lot of in the Championship. He's made a summer move to Southampton. Tom Fellows. Ollie, what a player.
Oh, I mean, we're talking about one of the best players in the Championship last season in terms of the impact he was having on games for West Brom. One of the top assisters and goal contributors in the division. They picked him up for 10 million quid. This is exactly the kind of business that parachute teams should be doing. They should be coming down into the Championship and saying, right, who are the young stars who are going to be ready for that transition to the Premier League in 18 months, in 2 years, and how can we get them embedded in our system, embedded in our team as soon as possible? I think this is one that just unlocks a little bit more from that Southampton team. They've struggled a bit since coming back down. We know they were built for a Russell Martin system. We know they were built for playing a different kind of football. They're going to transition that. Will still wants more from his team. He wants more energy, wants more pressing, and apparently wants a really talented old school winger who guarantees you goals and assists because of the quality of the balls he can put into the box. I think this is one of those where you look at it and you go, it just makes sense. And at the price, I can't believe nobody else was in, because it's a fantastic deal. And at 10 million quid, he should be going to the Premier League.
Absolutely. Up to number 5 now, and a name I fought for on the list, and Gab was keen as well. Adrian Segecic from Portsmouth. I mean, they signed him from Sydney, Gab, and He's taken to the Championship like a duck to water. They only paid the compensation fee for him. He looks so good.
Yeah, absolutely. The lad from Sydney certainly playing to the crowd at the moment. I think what I've really stood out to me when it comes to Adrian Segecic is that the aggression with which he presses, and I think it's such a lovely fit for the way John Massino's side set up and the way they like to try and create a siege mentality at Fratton Park, which is something they've started with that 1-0 home victory over Preston North End. But I think because you know, some players when they're pressing, they'll sort of go towards the man as if they're going to press, but they're kind of hoping that player sort of passes so that they don't have to really go for it. Segecic will just run, and he'll run through his man, and it's like, I'm coming after you whether you like it or not. And I think that aggression and that tenacity makes such a difference to making Portsmouth hopefully one of the best out-possession teams in the league, because I think they could get there with somebody like Segecic.
I also think that these are the signings I love, where you've not heard of them. I know we love Tom Fellows and players we've seen before, but the names that come out of nowhere from the A-League, stuff like that, I think the fee paid is minuscule. I think he actually takes the pressure off. What we saw last season was that Josh Murphy was an incredible attacking outlet. I think he made our team of the seasons, but there was an awful lot of pressure and one-dimensionism to Portsmouth's play almost. I think Segecic really kind of assists and should help him out this season. Let's go up to number 4. And in number 4, we've got one of your boys, actually, Gab, so I'll come back to you. It's Kyogo Furuhashi. Around £5 to £10 million played. Looked like a world beater in the first game of the season. He's clearly got quality. Why is he in our top 4?
Yeah, I think it probably would be our number 1 if he had kind of picked up that performance on the opening night. Maybe a little bit more quieter more recently, but I think it's his movement. That's the big thing, I think, and that relationship with Jay Stansfield, which I think is really exciting. And he had this incredible goal-scoring record at Celtic. Went a bit quiet for him at then, so he's coming up, looking to rekindle his top form. But when he was interviewed as a new signing for Birmingham City, he was asked what he's going to bring, and his answer was like one word: goals. And that's it. But that shows that he's a very confident lad, and I think that once he gets the first goal, I could see him putting a run together.
We all are kind of in agreement that Josh Sargent is probably the best striker in the Championship. Can Kyogo get close to him in terms of goals this season?
Oh, 100%. I think what you've got to do with Kyogo is get that first one. And I think that's what's going to really bring that confidence. We saw him obviously get one in the Carabao Cup, but not much to do with him and more to do with us being rubbish. But for the most part, I think he's one of those we've seen from his record with Celtic. It's only 18 months ago he was rumoured to be going to Manchester City. That's how good he had been playing in Scotland, scoring goals consistently. Once he gets one, particularly in this Birmingham team, I think he will run this division in terms of the goals that he's going to bring. It's been a slow start, a little bit disappointing, but when he gets there, he's going to fly.
Into our top 3 now, and in third place, it's Japhet Tanganga. We've gone for the man who swapped Millwall for Bramall Lane this summer. £6 to £8 million believed to be the fee. Ollie, he was unbelievable in his first game, even though you're losing at Borough. I mean, he looks like he could be the best centre-back in the Championship.
Oh, 100%. He looks so good. I mean, we got battered that day. It would have been 3-4 if it wasn't for Japhet Tanganga. He was defending on his own for much of that second half, and it was brilliant to see just how strong and confident he is. He's somebody I've wanted at Bramall Lane for a long time. Since Harry Souttar got injured, we have just been missing the profile of a player like Tanganga. We've needed somebody big, physical, strong, and able to dominate the attackers coming at him. That's exactly what we saw against Middlesbrough. I think he will organise our defence, and I think he will just elevate the floor of this team. I've talked about a lot with United what we have been missing for so long. He brings that and more. I think we are talking about one of the best defenders in the Championship, and I think despite a terrible start, Tanganga is the kind of player who can really inspire this United team to maybe get back to the levels we expected from them in pre-season.
And Gab, for you, we loved the work he did at Millwall, didn't we? He's really grown as a player. Can he reach those heights that Ollie's talking about?
Yeah, I think so. I think he's got all the attributes. I think at Millwall it helped him playing alongside Jake Cooper, who was, I would say, an aerial specialist. I think Tanganga's very good in the air, but I think his main strengths are possibly ability on the ball and the athleticism that he brings, which can be so valuable to a defence. So yeah, I think he's a great signing for Sheffield United. I would still argue for one more defender to come in if they can, if they've got time. But I think it's a top signing.
Absolutely. And we're into our top 2, and taking second place in our top 10 Championship signings of the summer is Kieffer Moore. £2 million took him from Sheffield United to Wrexham, and he started the season on fire, hasn't he? He can't stop scoring.
Cannot believe how good he's been. I mean, I watched him last season for United, and I never thought he'd score a goal. Every time he ran through on goal, you thought, he's just not got the confidence, he's going to miss this. He just didn't look like a natural finisher. He's gone into a system that suits him perfectly. Right manager, right club, right man, it seems right now, because he is everything they need in a striker. He's allowing them to go forwards. I think he's got 4 goals in 5 games so far, including the Carabao. I think he only got 5 for us in total last season. So we're really seeing somebody who's come into his own and has found the right mix. I think we've seen already this season, they have struggled at times in terms of their defence, in terms of how they're really going to go forward and hurt teams. He is unlocking everything. Won the penalty on the opening day against Southampton. He's then backed that up with goals. And he just looks like a really key man. I think if Wrexham are going to achieve what they want this season, which clearly will be a lot more than just avoiding relegation, they'll want to be aiming higher. He's going to be a massive player in them trying to get beyond relegation.
And we've talked about Parkinson's kind of physicality and the direct style of football maybe not working out in the Championship. But if it's going to work out, you need balls into the box, and you need Kieffer Moore getting on the end of them, just as he did at Millwall in that win.
I think there might be better players in the Championship than Kieffer Moore, but I don't think there's a player that's more important to their team than Kieffer Moore will be. You remember when Millwall made a run for the playoffs in the Championship in 17-18 under Neil Harris with amazing form in the second half of that season? Collectively, their squad that year was nowhere near top 6 Championship level, but they had a mobile target man in Steve Morrison who was aggressive and transformed an average team into a good one. I think Kieffer Moore can do exactly that, because not only does he have that aerial power, but also he's willing to run in the channels, and he's got that bit of mobility about him that can cause problems for defences. So it's not just about crossing into the box, it's also about those diagonals into the channels, and it opens the game up. So Kieffer Moore, I think, is going to be have a transformative impact at Wrexham, and really excited to see more of him this season.
I think the fee is wonderful, the team he's picked is wonderful, and that's why he's second on our list. But it only leaves room for the number 1 player for £3 million he signed for this summer. I can't believe we're saying this, but Watford have signed the best player in the Championship, we think, this summer. Nestory Irankunda has joined, 19 years old, from Bayern Munich. 2 direct free kicks already, Gab. Why is he number 1 on our list?
I think it's just the incredible upside, like the technical ability of Nestory Irankunda.
That pronunciation is better than mine, isn't it, Ollie? That was unbelievable.
I mean, yeah, you butchered it.
Those free kicks have been unreal, and I think that technical ability shows this incredible upside, and he looks so promising at just 19. So, yeah, really want to watch.
You look at the pedigree he has, obviously. You've set up at Bayern Munich. You look at the fact he's only 19. You look at the fact that Watford are hit and miss with their signings and long-termism. He is ticking all the boxes right now, isn't he? And he's only been there 4 games and he's still only a teenager.
Yeah, it feels like one of those where it's the perfect development signing for the Championship. You've brought somebody in who maybe has had a lot of high potential but hasn't quite made his breakthrough. He's not had the opportunities that you were hoping he was going to get as a teenager. So he's trying to just move away from it a little bit, come into the Championship, just trying to get a bit of game time. He then hits the ground running. And, I mean, anybody who can strike a ball like that, the sky's the limit, because if you've got that kind of technical ability, all you've got to do is develop yourself physically, and I think he's perfect in terms of that kind of signing. They are either he's going to carry them to promotion at some point in the next couple of years, or they're going to make so much money from selling him, because he just looks like the perfect talent. And coming into the Championship at 19, sky's the limit.
You know what you're going to get when you turn on a Watford game now, though, don't you? You want to tune in to see him. I think if you look at age, if you look at profile, if you look at excitement, if you look at goals, I think he is the best Championship signing this summer. So that rounds off our top 10 Championship signings of the summer. So please tune in on Monday for the next episode of the Sportsman Untitled in full. Well, I'll be joined by Benjamin Bloom and Connor McGilligan. But that's all for now. Let us know your thoughts in the comments down below. Who have we missed off this list? But that's all, and we'll see you on Monday.